Welcome everybody. Welcome to Quality Sewing and Vacuum's How Do I today. My name is Andrea and I am so excited that you've joined me here to talk about thread. Who knew there was so much to know about thread? Okay, we're going to go up top and I'm going to show you these towels that I've been working on right here. And believe it or not, I've used 3 different kinds of thread in my my printouts right here. We are going to be talking about the right threads to use when you want to use tiny little lettering right here. Okay, my consultants for So Fun brought in this really fun pattern. It's from Lunchbox Quilts. It's called Garden Fresh Recipes, where you can see there's lots of little lettering on there. And so today I wanted to share with you some of the tips and tricks that we have learned with making this. Today I'm using the Innovis, the Brother Disney version, and this is such a great little machine. I have programmed it to make a little label for the back of a quilt using some lettering today, and I'm going to get this started because this is a different combination of fabrics that I am using, or not fabrics, threads, different combination of threads that I'm using in here. So I'm going to press the start button right like that, and I'm going to let it do its thing while I talk over here about all the fun threads that I have used. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do when you are doing when you're prepping your fabric or your tea towels in this case, is you want a good stabilizer. I use the Floriani Stitch and Wash Fusible, and you want it to be tearaway because especially if it's going to be on the back of like a tea towel where it's not going to have a backing on it. That way it can all just go away behind and just leave the lovely fabric. So I used 2 layers of this Stitch and Wash Fusible tearaway, and it was really beautiful to use. One thing that you want to remember as you are loading your frames into the machine is you want to get the lock really tight. We're going to go back over to the machine here for just a second and look at the lock right here. One thing that I learned is that you should not just hand tighten this little screw right here. Sometimes your machine comes with a tool, but we have a couple of really fun tools like this Brother multi-purpose screwdriver. It is so amazing. So it's got like a hole in it, and you can just put it in and turn it to tighten, and it really saves. I'll put this under the camera right here. It really saves having to like use your fingertips to tighten that. So we have this one, and I really love this one. You can use it in many different ways. You can not only tighten your hoop with it, but you can put your needles in and out of your machine. So I love that one. And then we have this little tiny one. This is a little stubby micro screwdriver, and it's on a keychain, which I think is really cool so you don't lose it. But I do suggest if you do invest in this micro screwdriver that you want to get a decoy because if you have a husband or kids, they are going to steal it. So get a decoy because it's so cool and so handy. Anyways, make sure that when you tighten your hoop, you are not just doing it with your hands, but you are also using a tool to really tighten your stabilizer in with that. Okay, so those are some necessary tools to get you going. Let's talk about the threads that I used in all these 3 different places. So this is the first one that I did, and this one from Lunchbox Quilts, what she suggests is using a 40 weight thread here. And that's going to be like a Madeira pack, or most of the threads that we carry here at Quality Sewing and Vacuum are a 40 weight. For embroidery, they've got a nice shine to them, and it makes your embroidery look really beautiful. Okay, so that's 40 weight. So I used 40 weight in the top, and I also used 40 weight in the bottom, in the bobbin, and it came out really nice. Just like she shows in the pattern right there. But we brought in some really fun specialty threads, and I'm going to show you that right over here. So we brought in a 100 weight thread. You can barely even see that. I don't even know if you can see that. Looks like a fine hair or something. Don't be deceived by how thin this thread is, even though it's 100 weight. So the numbers, the larger the number is, the smaller and thinner the thread is going to be. So if you have like a 12 weight, that's going to be almost like floss that you do embroidery with. Okay, so that's where we are. 40 weight is average, 100 weight, super tiny, 12, really thick. Okay, so we brought in this 100 weight thread to try out doing even more delicate, tiny words down here, or small embroidery that you want to do. Okay, on this part right here, I used the 100 weight in the top. So I used my thread spool like this on the top, and then in the bobbin down below, I had a 40 weight. So you can see that this is even finer and smaller here than it is over on this side. And then my bobbin ran out of thread, and I replaced the bobbin with these on the very top right here with 100 weight in the bottom and 100 weight on top. And look at how like sharp and crisp you can read the E's and the A's. With the thicker thread, it kind of sinks the images down below. So this 100 weight thread is really going to get those sharp, really fine curves and all of your lettering right there. Okay, so there was another thread that I wanted to talk about here, and this is a 40 weight thread. This is King Tut. We carry these here at Quality Sewing. These are both 40 weight. Let me see if I can pull this out. If I put this here, can you guys see that? Yeah, sort of. Okay, I'm going to put a little piece there. I'm going to find the end right here. Oh, our machine is done. That's very exciting. Maybe, there we go. And I'm going to put this one out. It's variegated, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it. This thread is a little bit thicker than this thread. So this is a 40 weight and this is a 40 weight, but this is 2-ply. My little green one right here is 2-ply. This one is 3-ply. So if you think about that in terms of toilet paper, this is going to be fluffier. It is the 40 weight, but it's got a couple of layers to it, so it comes out a little more chunky. We're going to look over at my apron right here. Now, let's see, where are we? Okay, cool. We're doing it great. So I embroidered this. I experimented with splash fabric here. Splash fabric, if you're not familiar with it, it is laminated. So it's cotton, your regular cotton on the back, and then it has a lamination over the top. So if you get something on this, you can just wipe it off. And I wanted to experiment with making an apron with it and putting this cute carrot cake recipe right on top. So I did use 2 layers of the wash away, tear away stabilizer underneath, but I still noticed that it kind of sunk into the fabric a little bit more. And if I was to do this over again, I would experiment with putting a topper on this, because topper helps to keep the threads from sinking in. And I'm thinking because of that lamination and it's kind of slippery. Can you hear that? It kind of slipped those threads inside. So I would definitely use a topper next time with this. But I wanted you to look at these little carrots up here. I used this variegated King Tut thread, and look at how chunky and 3D those carrots came out. How fun is that? Okay, so back to here. So one thing that you also want, another tool to making your embroidery great. This was just some lettering from inside my machine, and you can see all my little threads and things here. You want a tool that's going to help you clip out those little threads and things. These are some little thread clippers from Suki Sews, and we also have these from Tula Pink. These are beautiful. They're like rainbow version. But what I love about this little guy is it's got like a little hook or something. That way you can hook it from the bottom. Let's do this one. See how I hooked it right there? You can go right over to the edge and it's just going to lovely get all these little threads and things out. So you can see how fast and quick and easy that is. Sometimes I'll sit there and clip while it's still embroidering. You can do it one-handed even. Look at that. How cool is that? So you definitely want to make sure you've got the right tools to help with getting all those threads out. So what I wanted to do here, what I did is I used, these are not as small. This was just the smallest lettering I could find in my machine. But I wanted to test out, on the top, I used a regular 40 weight thread. But then in the bottom, I used 100 weight. And I really love how clean and crisp those letters came out with the 100 weight in the bobbin. Now this is, these are pre-wound bobbins from Wonderfill, and these are 80 weight, which is really close to 100 weight. 100 weight is not something we usually carry in the store. It's kind of hard to find, but we always carry these pre-wound bobbins. And if you've never used some of these pre-wound bobbins, oh, you should give it a try. I love how these already are loaded and ready to go, but because they're machine loaded, they are going to actually come out and make your embroidery even smoother than just winding your own bobbins at home. Okay, so that's 80 weight, and you can use these 80 weights in the top as well. If you just have like a little bit, you want to make like a little label or something, these are going to be super great for if you just need a little bit, just a little bit of lettering. So anyways, that's the bobbin weights there, and I'm going to slip that underneath there. Also, shooting it with a little bit of iron is going to set these down really beautifully. We'll get those little guys out of there. Look how fun that is. And I'll go back and I'll add some more embroidery to this. But how fun that this is just in your machine. So, okay, so our takeaways from today is, one thing I almost forgot. You always want to check your needle as well when you are doing your embroidery, because the little 100 weight is so fine of thread that you want to make sure that, I just put in a new needle. Needles are cheap, and you want to put in a sharp one, and you can use the finer tip ones. You don't need to use a 90 weight. You can use more like an 80 or 70 weight needle, and because the thread is so fine, you want to make sure that there's no burrs or anything in the eye of your needle, because you don't want to shred this because it is such a fine thread. And you want beautiful results, and you don't want it breaking often as you're embroidering, because that's frustrating. You want to just press the button and go until you need to change colors. Okay, so a little overview of what you need to make beautiful, small, tiny lettering is you want some great stabilizer. Usually with lettering, it's going to be on a tea towel or the back of an apron where it's going to be exposed. So you want tearaway. This one is wash away, tearaway. It's fusible as well. You can, any tearaway though you want for the backing right there. You want to use some nice fine threads. The larger the weight, the smaller the thread. It's going to be 40 weight, 8 or 100 weight. We carry regularly the 80 weight bobbins that you can use in the top or the bottom that you'll want, and you'll want the right tools to tighten your loop, your hoop, not your loop, your hoop, to make that really nice, beautiful stitching so it doesn't warp or loop in there. Okay, so make it nice and tight, and You want the right tools to also clip all those little in-betweener letters, because there will be little tails that you want to cut out of there. So anyways, thank you for joining me here today with Quality Sewing and Vacuums How Do I, on the best tools to make little tiny beautiful letterings. And we'll see you next Tuesday.